Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, the era of peace brought to us by the Balance Sisters actually found us our buried treasure too. Hawthorne knew that there had to be tons of roots around here somewhere, but he just didn't know where to look. But it turns out, when you're in doubt, all you have to do is ask the bluebirds for a little bit of guidance. And we had plenty of bluebird guides in the last episode. There were actually 3 bluebirds here at one time, though we did take out one with Mereana, and that's why we have so much food to spare right now. And that's also why we're considering having another baby with her, introducing yet another potential bird to our ranks. If she only had one more creature to help her take down these bluebirds, we could probably restore our food supplies in no time. And then of course there is the situation with the roots. We even have one more root down here by the ports for Hawthorne to dig up. And then we found one way back here with Lightning. She's marking this off, guarding it like a sentinel right now. She'll make sure that nobody tries to steal it. But we don't have many more turns to make on this turn. Just one more turn with you, Mereana. And I'm wondering if perhaps it might be time for you to finally strike off from the shores. She has been promised that it's her destiny to keep these bluebird feathers in hand. Once she was only meant to be a messenger, a shadow to her bigger sister with a knack for slaying birds. But now she's taking matters into her own hands. Flurry has assured her that the spirits wouldn't have given her an appearance that so closely resembles Adam's if they didn't mean for her to take on those bluebird feathers and lead them to the next island. So it's time for her to find her place in the world, and I think she's going to have to do a little bit more exploring first to find it. Maybe we could even bring her all the way back here to Lightning. She is one of our greatest warriors after all, so if Mereana is looking for training, she's probably the first creature she should seek. Those bluebird feathers even ensure that Lightning will trust her no matter what. She was actually mentored by Kestrel back in the day, so it's kind of fitting that she's going to end up mentoring her daughter now too. So that leaves us with just our Oracle and Jangle to work with. And while Jangle has plenty of babies popping up around the island, it seems like there's not very much for him to do. He's not very much of a father, he's not very much of a guide to them, but he's pleased to know that they're striking beyond the confines of the sea. His family had always been cursed in that way, and in the mountains, it's kind of more dire than ever that we breed them away from the ocean. It's just not going to help us in the long run. So since he's one of the few around here who can actually pick up these flowers, let's have Jangle go ahead and pick a little bit of extra nesting material for us. It seems like he's going to need to offer it up to his many mates after all. Mereana in particular is going to need to make a nest very soon. And did I see a little piranha fish in the water? We did want to see if the Balance Sisters would lend you a little bit of extra luck. Just the sort of luck that we need to pick up one of those pesky piranhas. Unfortunately, it's not in the cards for you today, but it looks like Nukiro is still around the corner. It is so nice to see that he's coming up here to see his daughter. Kiara is going to have her second gem on the next turn too, so that means she should be able to toddle on after him if she wanted to. Right now, I wonder if she's getting a little bit of extra training from Flurry. As such a young child, I'm sure she would be very interested in stories, and of course our oracles know them in abundance. Maybe she could even teach her about some of the old ways, those traditions that she holds so dearly, and even the old deities too. While our tribe might be close, they're not exactly the best at keeping those traditions alive. The biggest case in point might actually be the gravediggers. They have been slacking like no one else. It's not really their fault though. There's just not very much time for them to focus on digging graves for the fallen. So maybe Kiara could actually take it as her mission to help soothe this troubled island. She could go roaming around looking for ways to finally set these remains to rest. She has a digging paw for it, so if we come across any roots that our earth spirits wouldn't be able to reach, she might be an excellent help. That being said, if she does cross paths with Hawthorne, I could see him admiring her ambition. He would probably figure that his parents would have loved her. He might even let her tag along on his journey too. But I do see that one of those bluebirds is getting pretty darn close to you, Mereana. So as we settle down your nest, you are going to have to keep a very close eye on the skies, but you know that your patience always pays off in the end. Oh, that means that we are going to have to attack the bluebird again? I mean, it's right there. We can't let that go. Yeah, and that's more food in our pockets too. So I guess one more turn is going to have to be... Well, that's kind of a bummer, but our heat bodies of balance will stay by your side. I'll bet they're very eager to welcome your new baby into the world. And with all these bluebirds swooping overhead, maybe that will give you a little bit of extra luck for a baby with the wings. For that matter, with both of these creatures having one wing apiece, maybe that'll even help usher that baby into the nest too. But I guess we could bring Maple a little bit further away from them. I think Ranger's health was completely healed again, so we know she doesn't need any more help. And Raven definitely still had the healing magic on her, so I'm sure in no time all of that danger is going to be gone from her too. So Maple, maybe you could do some traveling with your brother. Go find a few more of those roots. It looks like another one has popped up right next to lightning, so you better guard this place with your life. I think we're actually going to use this turn to dig up this one right here. We could have somebody else do it instead, but to be honest, that extra food is probably worth a little bit more, so one more turn inside the heart of the tribe couldn't hurt. I'm sure that lightning is going to be able to take care of herself. And pretty soon she might have some company anyways. Now Mereana has a short-sighted eyes, so it is going to be a little bit difficult for her to make her way up the mountain, especially if you keep getting in the way. I mean, I guess Kiara should probably just follow. We'll give her a second gem, and she can toddle right in the shadow of her father. Oh, they can play around together? On his very last day? He did take a little bit of damage at some point, probably from freezing to be honest. It was pretty cold out in the mountains. But now that Flurry knows, she has instilled her with the knowledge, the wisdom of the oracles. She's not afraid to let her go explore the mountains alone. It's time for her to find her own adventure in this world too. So if we have lightning scoot on down to this tile, still right next to both of those roots, we could guide Mereana just a little bit closer to her brand new mentor. Now, don't you go getting any ideas. On Nukiro's very last day, wouldn't that be so fitting if that's the day that he steals one of our roots? And I'm sure it would all be for his daughter's sake too. It's a little bit sad that he's so far away from Raven, but I'm sure that their hearts are still connected no matter what. I suppose that even gives us time to bring the heat bodies to a bit of a better location. We could bring Raven down to the shores, hopefully lighting up the way toward the bluebird. But just to be sure, let's make sure that we have these two melt as much snow as possible. We'll bring Maple over here too, so she can settle down right inside this hot spring. That way she'll be nice and toasty warm. And if you sit here, Raven, Mereana could probably take down that third bluebird in no time. I thought there was a leech in the water for a moment, but I'm pretty sure that was just a piranha. I mean, I guess it's nice to see that there's so much life in the ocean. That has to mean something. Considering how little life we found out here before, it must mean that the waters are getting just a tiny bit warmer. So it has to mean something good for the glaciers too. Now, Ranger, I suppose we could bring you right here. You could probably melt the snow right by the ports. And if we have to, we could even have you move this nest for us too. You could pack it up and store it away for Mereana to move somewhere else. I did just realize, if Maple passes away, we're not going to have any more purse notes to heal our creatures. That might actually be a bit of an issue. I'm not so worried about the food anymore, but there is always the potential for danger on the mountains. We've just gotten pretty lucky with the lack of balance bears. Or unlucky, depending on how you look at it. So Maple? Gosh, I don't know if you can have a healthy baby here. Again, with Jangle being like our one and only male that we can use. He does have a similar immunity gene. Oh, would we want to risk it? I mean, would there be any point in having a healer who's sick themselves? I'm not really sure. Maybe we'll just have to leave that up to her daughter. I wonder if perhaps Flurry could weasel a bit of that purse now into her traits as well. Right now she's actually carrying the Mereana snout, which would be a pretty interesting thing to see in our oracles. But I'm just not sure if it would be a good idea for us to breed her with Jangle either. Their immunity genes do line up, but the mutation menu is a different story. We certainly don't want to see one wing on one of our babies. That would just end up being a waste. So we'll keep it tucked in the back of our mind as a possibility, but we're going to give ourselves a little bit longer to decide. Maybe it's actually time that we pack away this nest too, before it starts to wither away like all of the others. We just haven't had time to pick up those nests, and that's why they so often end up withering away. Alright, so this is probably the extent of all of our moves. We'll bring Flurry over here so she's nice and toasty warm. But with the bluebird directly over that nest? Oh my gosh, are you on the very same tile? Oh, you actually are. Okay, we're gonna skip the day right here, because if we have Mereana go and attack the bluebird, I'm pretty sure that she's going to land directly in her nest. Oh no! Oh, and I forgot. Poor Nukiro. He passed away right next to you, Lightning. Well, this is a good opportunity for Kiara to work her magic if I ever did see one. But first things first, let's have you hop into that nest of yours. And you can even land in another attack too? Yes! Oh my goodness! Talk about good luck. Now if any deities were going to bless your baby with flight, now would definitely be the time. Taking down the third bluebird of the island on the very same day that you land in your nest? If this baby doesn't have both of the wings, I am going to be thoroughly offended. Let's see if we can have both Hawthorne and Kiara meet up right by those roots. If we have Maple scoot her way back here, maybe we could have Hawthorne go a little bit further. But with that slow movement, it's still going to take quite some time. It looks like it'll take one extra day for him to dig up those roots. But I guess that's all well and good, because as these creatures all converge right by the rocks, they can all share their stories too. Kiara can explain that she just wants to put her father's remains to rest. And then as for Hawthorne, he can give her a few pointers maybe. She'll never be quite as good at digging as him, but he can help push her in the right direction. And Mereana, it's time for you to go to Lightning for some training. You know that you sure do have a lot to prove, and I guess she would know how that feels too. In fact, with this rock just sitting right in front of her, I'd imagine that in her past, she would probably be feeling quite disappointed right now. She doesn't have the strength that she needs to crack these open like her mother could. Pala was known for her unmatched potential, and no rock of the earth could ever stand in her way. But Lightning has grown to understand that she has strengths of her own. I mean, she's taken down a balance bear in her time, so she is also nothing to be overlooked. So for now, to ensure that the baby isn't going to freeze out here, I think we're going to have these two settle down right by her side. But on the next turn, we'll see if they can discover something out in the snow that would help Mereana prove herself as a leader. She's not willing to take on the alpha rank until she knows she has the full trust of her tribe. And right now, it's clear that there are only a select few who truly believe in her. And I guess rightfully so, too. Appearance alone isn't what makes a good leader. Now can we bring Maple over to those clovers? Oh, I think she might fall just a little bit too short. But at least on her very last day, she can still be right next to her brother. And I guess it's even more fitting in a way now, too. Kiara will have her father to bury, and Hawthorne will have his sister. So the two will have great reason to bring back the ways of the gravediggers. Now with the bluebirds gone, there might not be much reason for us to continue building our pathways, but I still feel like that would probably be a good thing for us to focus on with Ranger and Raven. While they do of course want to see the new little baby, we have a little bit of extra time left on Mereana's lifespan, so we don't have to worry about protecting her right away. We'll have them just dive a little bit deeper into the snows, I guess, melting everything that they come across, and that should make it easier for other creatures to hopefully find some more food. Yeah, I'm really surprised by how bare the set of land has been. It really seems like all of our routes are just focused around these ports for some reason. It kind of makes me wonder if it would be the same over here by the glaciers. I don't know, maybe this is where our second buried treasure is hiding, but it's going to take a very long journey to get there. We'll have to do it eventually once the snow does finally melt. And speaking of which, how many more days do we have left on this cycle? Alright, one more day until that sunny weather, so the long stretch of peace is nearly over. Ooh, and I just realized how terribly fitting that Flurry is sitting inside one of the hot springs, gazing out at the ocean as our weather is about to change again. I wonder if she's hearing a few more whispers from the Balance Sisters in the distance. Maybe they're going to bless us with another battle again. Another test of our tribe's strength as a single unit. Well, with nothing more to do on our current turns, let's go ahead and skip the day again. But we're going to go straight to Mereana's nest, because we have to see if this baby has the wings. Just like her mother. Oh no, just one wing and the other one is actually the digging paw. Oh, that is so disappointing. She could have been so grand too with those megalosaurus horns, though it looks like she actually doesn't have the big body. So I guess it would have been a little bit harder for her to attack. Oh no, not at all. Oh, she would have been even stronger than her mother. Oh, that is such a bummer. Honestly, if there were ever a time for a gift from the skies, it really should have been now. Poor Mereana. It kind of makes me wonder if we should maybe breed them again, though. If we can bring Jangle over there for just this last turn. He's going to pass away so this baby could take his place. And I mean, we have to make sure that Mereana passes on those double wings. Giving up the bluebirds as a source of food is going to seriously stunt our tribe. So I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to risk it. We'll bring Jangle right back to our side for one very quick baby and cross our fingers that this is the one. Ooh, do you think maybe the reason why it's not working is because we didn't offer anything up to Solaris? He was a creature known for his wings too, and while he is the messenger of the deities, maybe he would even play a little role in giving our creatures the wings. So as we have Jangle breed with Mereana and have her place down her next nest, maybe we should see if you two can find some special gifts for him, something to lay out in his honor. I mean, to be honest, the only true thing that we have to work with here are probably these flowers. I guess we could have maybe Raven come back here to pick these up. She's the only one who can with that velvet paw of hers, so Ranger's going to have to find something else. It kind of seems like it might be a waste of time to go down to the shores. But if that's the only other place where we can find some unique things to give him... Ooh, unique indeed. Ooh, we have some algae down here. We have some fish. Oh my goodness. I was going to say we could collect some of this water healing plant for him because that is definitely unique. But the fish? That might not be such a bad idea either. Maybe she could use those little fish scales as a special gift for him. We can lay those out right next to the flowers that Raven already collected. They could set up all of their offerings right on top of this lone bunny burrow. Inactive as always. Inactive until Melody finally decides to bring us the summer we've been longing for. So hopefully that is going to snag Solaris' attention. But just because this baby doesn't have the double wings doesn't mean we shouldn't name her too. She is still going to be very valuable to us. She has a little bit of strength packed in there thanks to the megalosaurus horns, and she can dig us up some food too. So I think we're going to name her Jolly, because that seems to fit his father's naming theme. Jingle, jangle, and now Jolly. So hopefully she'll bring a spot of light to this mountain where our tribe needs it the most. And now we can finally go back to our gravediggers. These two have a lot to take care of today. In fact, if we bring Hawthorne straight up to the clovers, that would probably be the best place for him to conduct this ritual. We could bring Kiara over to the other side so she can watch on too, and she can try her best to carry out the knowledge that the Oracle left her with. Bringing peace to the spirits of the mountain is not going to be an easy task, especially with how many wandering spirits are likely stuck here now. But with the two of them working together now, I'm sure they'll be able to get the job done. So now the question is, which way are we going to bring Lightning and her little apprentice so she can train Mereana properly? It's hard to guess where the danger is going to spawn, but as long as they have access to the heart of the tribe, all the places where the babies are especially. I guess if there was going to be any danger, it would probably be right by the nursery, so let's make sure that they can watch over with ease. We could have Mereana maybe balance on the peaks, watching from her bird's eye view. I wonder if this brings back any memories for Lightning. A few episodes back, that was actually supposed to be her job. She was going to be stationed on the very tippity top of the mountain, just so we could make sure that our birds could get up there and fight the bluebirds if they needed some extra food. That task might be long behind her now, but I guess the message still stays. Sometimes the best thing the strongest of our tribe can do is just stand back and wait for danger to strike. Now, Flurry, with the final day of peace upon us, let's have you tiptoe your way down to the shore, where you can once again attempt to scoop up some of these piranhas. Ooh, you actually grabbed that one. Excellent, so the Balance Sisters are definitely watching out for you. Or I suppose it would be Splash who has a bit more influence over these little fish. But since the Balance Sisters have seemed to bless these waves, I would imagine it's probably their gift. A little something special for them to show you that you are definitely on the right path. And as long as you keep following the Balance Sisters' ways, they will continue to reward you too. So one last time, let's go ahead and skip the day and cross our fingers. The Mereana is going to be able to give us a baby with those double wings. Oh, yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, Jangle, this is even your dream come true too? I mean, he does have the gills, not the best thing for a bird, but that does mean that he's not contained to the sea anymore. Our little water-breathing baby can fly wherever he wants to. He has the big body, he has the megalosaurus horns. That means a 4 in strength. And I'm almost positive that I heard a bluebird spawn. Ooh, over here by the balance bear? Oh, a message from the Balance Sisters indeed. Flurry, you seem to have a direct link between them, don't you? How interesting. Back here with Lightning? Well, you better make sure that you call Mereana up here right away. It looks like you two are going to have a nice big battle on your hands pretty soon. Those are our only dangers, right? The bluebird, the balance bear. I don't see any Arctic ram foxes, so that's a good sign. Nothing to jump out at our babies just yet, but we have to come on back here and name this little one. Our little Seabird. Maybe we could call him Sparrow? Give him that bird connection, of course, but also kind of like Captain Jack Sparrow too. A memory of the pirates of old. So Sparrow, your mother sure has a lot to teach you before she passes away, but it's good to know that her legacy is going to live on in an even stronger way than before. Now, before we think about ending this episode, I do want to make sure that we set up our creatures for attacking this balance bear. Mereana doesn't really move the fastest, but she could probably poison this balance bear, couldn't she? That would help us take it down even faster too. So jump on up here and get ready to attack. Maybe Lightning could even lure it out. Oh? Oh my gosh! Oh, Flurry, you've been betrayed. Oh, the Balance Sisters have given you a leech? Well, geez, we're gonna have to have you jump on over here then. Rush back to Raven's side. Who would have thought that a leech would still try to get to you with that spiky body of yours? Well, if Raven comes over here, she should be able to pick that off of you, and thankfully she's not going to get injured. I was a little bit worried that may have been the case. But this family must be really making Flurry proud. They've learned to fall back to the old stories of the deities if they want their prayers to be answered. And she didn't even have to guide them. They were able to figure that out all on their own. And speaking of Ranger, let's make sure that you scoop up the rest of those fish. Every last little morsel that you can get your big Mereana claw on. I guess Solaris has a soft spot for fish, though I'm sure those flowers played a role too. In fact, they probably reminded him a little bit of his old purse-snout love, because he often ferried her flowers from the places that he visited. So now we should be safe to set up the attack. One hit from you, Lightning, and then if you scoot on back one tile, I'm sure that the balance bear is going to be quite eager to chase after you soon. So maybe Mereana's strength will finally be proven in the next episode. I guess in a way it helps to show the duality between the sisters. Mereana can protect the skies, or at least her family can when she passes. And then we have Mereana, who can easily protect the ground too. Those poison fangs will ensure that this balance bear won't be sticking around for long. And likewise, I am very curious to see how Hawthorne's story is going to progress. Now that he has this new mission that he's devoted himself to, right at Kiara's side, the need to find roots to use is more pressing than ever. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!